Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. It's Paulie, Esther here, and today we're going to talk about your boy, the Wraith. We know he's got some buffs coming up, so let's talk about those. I expect them to roll out around November after the Halloween event, which, by the way, in case you missed the Halloween event video, Halloween event is on from October 26th to November the 1st, and it's going to be a blood point multiplier week-long event. No challenge, just chill, enjoy the extra blood points. No confirmation as yet if it's going to be 2 times, 3 times, 4 times blood points. Dave Richard did say on DevStream, I heard 4 times blood points, but he might have been trolling us to put pressure on the other people and go, what are you saying? Why would you say that? I don't think it's going to be 4 times. I'll be very shocked. I think it's going to be either 2 times or 3 times. We'll see what happens. If it is 4 times, oh my gosh, just stay on your computer and farm those points. Anyway, back to the Wraith. So we're going to talk about the upcoming buffs to the Wraith. He's already had one thing happen to him where they lowered his growling noise level so you can't hear him as well, which I think was very important. That's already made him much more viable because he doesn't give away his position the way that he used to. And I'm going to show you some comparison videos of that and how his growling has changed. So they're calling this the Wraith Cube, but, you know, we know it's going to be all buffs. When we had the Doctor Cube, it was all buffs. There was nothing negative that came out of that cube that happened to the Doctor. It was all buffs. And I think what's going to happen is you're going to see the Wraith quite a bit more than, let's say, you do the Doctor, because I think we overestimate how many people own the DLCs beyond just the base game. So while the Doctor is a very, very powerful killer in the game, not as many people own his DLC. But now I think with the Wraith being a base game character, a lot more people are going to play him, and you are going to see a lot of Wraiths. It won't take long for the Wraith is OP threads to start appearing, I don't think. So Wraith's going to come back like that kid you see in the movies who gets bullied all summer, but he grows 6 inches, and his parents had him take a karate class, and now he's coming back with a vengeance for on all of his bullies. So, yeah, Wraith's going to be scary. It's not going to be a good time. It really isn't. So, let the jump cuts commence. First, we're going to go off to show you the comparison and how his level of sound has changed, which is already in the game. So, here we go. Okay, so first I'm going to show you how loud the Wraith used to be. This is an old video. You're going to be able to tell by the way the perks are set up that it's an old video. It's from a few months ago. But it's going to give you an idea about how loud the Wraith used to be. And I'm just going to push my my desktop volume here so you can hear it as loud as possible. So here's how loud the Wraith used to be. Where's my crows at? Alright, so that gives you an idea of his growls and snarls. You could hear him coming as he approached the locker that I was in. And now I'm going to show you a video of what the present day Wraith sounds like and just how much more quiet he is. Okay, now here's the current Wraith and how quiet he is. So let's show you a video of that. Again, I have the volume completely boosted just to keep everything the same.
Hey.
Oh, I see your shimmer.
Hey. What's up, buddy?
Okay, now I think I lost you. I can barely hear you. You're standing still now?
I'm touching you.
Where are you guys?
Don't tell me where you are. You are touching me?
Yeah.
He's touching me. See if you can bump into him. Wow.
I could not. I can't hear you.
Alright, so that gives you an idea of how close the Wraith was able to stand next to me, and I could barely hear him. If you're on voice comms with somebody and everybody's chatting back and forth, you aren't going to hear this guy. Wraith standing directly behind me. You could barely make out that noise. He is not going to give away his position from his guttural snarls and growls anymore. That's for sure. Okay, so now let's go on to the proposed buffs that are coming in. So as he stands right now, the Wraith can be tricky to play because he is so slow as he uncloaks. He gets a speed reduction time as he's uncloaking for those 3 seconds. So if you find somebody and you start to uncloak, the survivors see and hear you uncloaking, and then they can take off with sprint burst, and you're moving slow while you uncloak, so they are able to get some distance between you and them, which that's what makes it tricky to play Wraith right now. You really need to use add-ons as he stands to either reduce your reappearance time or to give you a speed boost once you come out of the cloaking. It's very hard to play him with no add-ons right now. But that's going to change. They want to change his speed while uncloaking to match the speed of survivors, which I think when they say that, they mean the survivors' base running speed, not walking speed. It wouldn't make sense because I think he's probably at walking speed right now when he uncloaks. So they're going to make it so that he moves as fast as the running speed of survivors while he's uncloaking. So that's going to prevent them from getting that distance from you once you first start to uncloak. Your uncloak time is going to remain the same at 3 seconds, but they want the Wraith to be able to cloak faster. So if you do hit somebody or lose somebody, they want you to be able to go back into cloak and continue on your hunting ways to track them down again. It's going to be 1 second time to recloak, and once the Wraith is cloaked, he's going to move at a speed of Bloodlust 2. It's like he's already in Bloodlust 2 for speed when he's cloaked, which I believe for him is like 5.2 meters per second. And compare that to, say, his base speed or base trapper or hillbilly speed when running not in Bloodlust is 4.6. So he's going to get over a half a meter of a speed boost when he's cloaked. Another change they want to make is to his bell. Right now, when he bangs the bell to either come in or out of cloak, you can hear the noise of the bell infinitely across the map. Everybody can hear it. So if, you're not near the Wraith and you hear the bell going ding-dong on the, somewhere in the map, then he's probably doing something with somebody else, and you could just keep your head down and do what you're doing. You don't have to worry that he might be sneaking up on you, because if you hear him going in and out of cloak somewhere else, then he's not near you. You don't have to worry. But they want to change that, and you're only going to be able to hear the effects of the bell in a 24-meter range, which is quite small compared to infinitely across the entire map. So you're only going to be able to hear whether he's hitting the bell to cloak or uncloak if you are within 24 meters of him. The whoosh sound that you hear once he's cloaked with all the smoke whoosh, that is going to be a little bit larger. That's going to be 56 meters, which was also global. You could hear that infinitely across the map as well, the whoosh. So the whoosh is going to be reduced to 56 meters, but that can be even further reduced with the add-ons of the bone clapper or the coxcomb clapper, that you could reduce that to as much as 30%. So they said that the whoosh may be reduced even further if it is deemed too large, but they feel like that's a comfortable range at 56 meters right now. And again, you could reduce that to that'd be about 40 meters if you put on the add-ons. So again, they want Wraith to be sneaky, stealthy, sneaking up on you. They don't want him giving his position away as much as he used to with the growling and the bell sound and the whooshing. They're trying to make him into more of a stealth killer to sneak up on you, and it's going to be frightening. You're going to hate it. Okay, so one of the other proposed changes for the Wraith is to change the way he views the world. Once he goes into Cloak, they want him to see the world in a monochromatic view, the same way that you as a survivor would see everything in black and white once you're hit under the protection of borrowed time and everything goes black and white. They want the Wraith to see everything in black and white when he goes into Cloak mode, with the exception that they want alerts and scratch marks and blood to all stand out against this black and white field. So they have some video of how that would work, and I'll show that to you now. Whoops, get out of the way, Wraith. So there you see everything goes into black and white except the things that are going to stand out in red. All right, I think that gives you the idea behind that. They said that the way their game works, this mode isn't entirely viable at the moment, but they're working on it. So that's kind of frightening, that the Wraith could smack you, make you bleed, and once you run off, then he can cloak and all of your blood and scratch marks are standing out very brilliantly. So that is entirely frightening. Alright, so let's move on to the next video clip I have for you. Okay, so right now the other proposed change to the Wraith is to allow him to interact with the environment on the map while cloaked. And what I mean by that is they want him to be able to, while he is cloaked, kick generators to regress them and break pallets that have been downed and remain cloaked. Currently, he has to come out of cloak if he wants to do any of that. So, there is some debate whether or not he will uncloak after he hits this stuff, but I don't think that he will, because is it really that different than making him uncloak to kick a generator, or if he kicks the generator then he comes uncloaked? It seems like they're going to allow him to remain cloaked while doing this to me, which scares the poop out of me, and I'll tell you why. But first, let me show you this clip of him doing it. So you can see there, he reveals his position a little bit while he smacks the generator, but he's still cloaked. So you can just kind of see, oh, there he is when he does it. But, you know, he's not coming out of the cloak, really. Let's see if I can give you that one more time. Crack. And then he's gone. So that's what that looks like. There's the star of the show again, the Wraith. So, I'll tell you why that scares me. So imagine a Wraith who's running a 3-generator lockdown strategy, finds 3 gens that are really close together, and decides these 3 generators are mine. They can do whatever they want, but nobody's going to touch these 3 generators. And then he can patrol them while cloaked at a speed of Bloodlust 2, 5.2 meters per second. He can just go in that triangle from generator to generator all the time in this monochromatic view where your scratch marks are standing out, and if he does get a hit on you, he can see your blood. And if you happen to work on any of these generators, he can stay cloaked and just smack them down. So that is very frightening. If a Wraith uses this tactic to lock down a 3-gen strat, like these 3 gens are mine, and can move that fast from gen to gen, regressing them, and he can see where you are brilliantly with your scratch marks or blood standing out, that's pretty darn frightening. That's like what the stuff nightmares are made of in this game. And that's not even talking about anything he could have added on to his character. Just his base character, he would be able to accomplish this. And that is very, very scary to me. Is why I think you might see some Wraiths are OP threads. Okay, well, I think that touches on all of the changes being made to the Wraith. Let me know what you think. We all know the Wraith needs something. Does he need this much? I don't know. But we all know he needs something. I am eager to see the Wraith get a shot in the arm because I really don't face that many Wraiths. He's kind of like the laughable killer on the block. Mind you, I have gotten wrecked by some Wraiths, and I'll explain that to you in a minute, like a strategy that I've seen somebody use with the Wraith. It was very effective. But we got all these buffs rolling in for the Wraith. I always enjoyed the Wraith when I first started playing the game over a year ago. The Wraith was my go-to guy. I didn't have to figure out where the best spots were to put traps. I didn't have to figure out how to steer the unpredictability of the chainsaw. All I had to do was go invisible and go find people. It's a pretty simple killer to learn, I think. So that's another reason why I think you may see a lot of these Wraiths, because he is pretty simple to learn. It's like, oh, I just go invisible and find people. What could be easier than that? So with his changes, I think he's going to be pretty strong. We'll see what happens. I do enjoy him as a character. I'm glad to see him getting some love. I really thought that when they had the vote over which character needed reworking the most, I was surprised that the Doctor won and got a spot ahead of the line in front of the Wraith on this. But Wraith is getting some love now, which is good. And okay, as much as people talk about Leatherface being the borrowed time stopper because he can just sit in the basement and clear everybody out if you come in with borrowed time or not, swinging that chainsaw with multiple hits, we already had a killer that was the borrowed time stopper, but nobody used him because of his weaknesses. And that Wraith, that killer is the Wraith. The Wraith is the borrowed time stopper. I had a game where somebody used the Wraith so effectively that I wound up talking to the person who played him for 10 minutes after the game in post-game chat because he blew my mind with the way he played the Wraith as a Survive with Friends ultimate stopper. I'm going to tell you how he did it. So, you can't use borrowed time if there isn't a heartbeat. And when the Wraith is cloaked, he doesn't generate a heartbeat. So what this fella did, and I apologize I don't remember your name out there, is once he got a hit on somebody and hooked them, he would cloak. So borrowed time never came into effect. And he would just wait for us to unhook our friend, then he would tunnel that person, down them again, and hang them back up and repeat that until one by one we all died. And borrowed time never came into the equation because he was never uncloaked whenever anybody got unhooked. And it blew my mind the way he played this, because I even tried to fake him out with, once I realized what he was doing, was like, okay, I'll just pump fake the unhook and let go, and then once he uncloaks, I'll do the real unhook and the borrowed time will kick in. But because his uncloak time was 3 seconds and my pump fake only takes like a second, he was able to stop the uncloaking. So I could never trick him into revealing himself to get a heartbeat to make borrowed time kick in, just because his 3 seconds, he could just turn it off, go, oh, he's just faking me, and then he would stop uncloaking and stay cloaked. So we're just kind of at an impasse where I'm like, man, I'm trying to pump fake him and get him to reveal himself, and he's like, nope, I'm not falling for it until you actually unhook this guy. Meanwhile, the person's bleeding out on the hook. What could I do? There was nothing I could do. So when I talked to the guy for 10 minutes after, I was like, how would I combat this? And he's like, there's nothing you can really do except to form a wall with your teammates to prevent me from tunneling them. Because we tried to take hits, tried to get in his way and take the aggro and encourage him to go in a different direction, but he had the blinders on. He was so focused to get the person that was unhooked, and it was just an impressive strategy. And you can play this right now today. You don't even need to wait for these buffs to come out. You can play that way right now. If you're tired of people getting borrowed time saved, do this. Try it out. You're going to wreck some people. It will surprise you how effective it can be. Now, you're going to get a lot of salt because they're going to call you a tunneler or a camper. And it wasn't even like the Wraith was face camping next to the person. He was just off to the side, within maybe, let's say, 10, 15, 20 meters. He would just stand there and wait because he knew that we were coming to get him. And, you're going to get some salt if you play this way, which I don't think you should. I didn't give this guy any salt. I just gave him a tip of the hat. And I was impressed. So you can play this way right now if you choose to. Okay, and the other thing I want to talk about is there's been a lot of reaction to the video I had about rest in peace face campers because they're going to make it so that you can unhook somebody in any direction on the hook, which will prevent the killer from just straight up coming face to face with you and blocking the hook and making it impossible for anybody to rescue you. And so what some people have said is that, oh great, now the people who are obnoxious in the game are going to be able to play whatever way they want without the threat of being punished. So I guess some people feel like face camping is the nuclear option to punish bad behavior in the game, which I suppose is teabagging. I don't know what else it could be. Pallet looping and things like that, to me, that's just survival. That's just somebody trying to survive in the game. I don't think that that's bad behavior necessarily. It's just somebody trying to buy time, stay alive. Teabagging, I could see, would be a different issue. But I've had it where somebody just said, nope, this person pallet looped me, and they are dying. And they just face camped that person, and we tried to get in there and save them. 3 of us crowding the hook, trying to drop an item at the feet and squeeze in between the killer, and the killer just kept shaking the head and saying, nope, this person is dying today for whatever reason I decided. So when you're in that situation, there's just really nothing you can do. The face camp, it's very, very tough to get in there and rescue that person. They're just 95% most likely going to die. So I understand the killers feel like, oh, now the community is going to run amok and it's going to be toxic. But all I can say is to everybody out there is, we're here to play this game and have a good time. And we all know that there are other faces on the other side of that screen. There's real flesh and blood people playing on the other side of that screen. And we're in charge of the community that we want to live in. So it's only going to be as toxic as we make it. So I would just plead to all of you out there, if you could just, for one day, just only say nice things in the chat. Even if you get something mean back, and just see what happens. We're in control of our community. The game is only going to be as good as the community. If it gets too toxic and killers leave because, they feel like the inmates run the asylum and they have no control and everybody is just awful and toxic in the chat, we're going to lose those people. We're going to lose players in the community, and ultimately we would lose the game, right? So if we want the game to live and breathe and thrive, we have to show some love to the other side. And it can't always be like, me against you, I hate you, I hate you. It's a symbiotic relationship. We need one another. So the kindness costs you nothing. It doesn't hurt you at all to extend an olive branch to that killer and say, man, I like that one move you made, or this or that or the other, just to show them a level of respect, because it is a human being on the other side of that screen. And it can't all be about like, you suck, or I did this to you, I teabagged you, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're just going to kill your own community, It's like cutting off your nose to spite your face. If you want the community to thrive, just be a decent human being and realize there's somebody on the other side of that screen, and show them some love, because they're trying their best. They want to win too. Sometimes you can't always win if you get tunneled or what. So what? It's 15 minutes out of your life. You move on to the next one. You had a bad experience and say like, I hate you. You're just a tunneler. I don't respect the way you play the game. What is that going to get you but hard feelings in the game, right? It's just going to make the community toxic. So I think we can all show each other a little more love. I've had it happen to me too. We're like, you're scummy. You're running decisive strike. You're so scumbag. Like, I'm a scumbag? Like, do you want to set my perks before we play? Would that be satisfactory? I don't know what I could do to appease you. I'm just picking from the perks I have available to me, much as you are. You know, you want me to say barbecue and chili is a scummy perk? Like, I'm not gonna give you heck because you're playing barbecue and chili, so what do you care what I play? We're just doing the best we can in this game, and we're in it together. And I'm not going to rip anybody for their play style or the perks they play. That's just me. I'm just going to move on. Like, oh, wow, I got wrecked. That was a bad one. And there's another game around the corner. So it isn't productive. There's nothing productive that can come from putting salt in the chat, right? It's just going to create hard feelings and wreck the community. The community is going to be what we make of it. So I would challenge all of you to just play the game in a way you would have the game played against you. And I'm going to end this with a video clip to show you that, you know, we can have fun in this game even though we're on other sides of the ball. So I'll show you that right now. Okay, so this is a video of a game that I had with a hillbilly. And Bry Guy said the hillbilly doesn't like the big city. He just wants to go back to the cold wind farm. All right, let me show you this clip here.
He wants to go back to the cold wind farm.
Oh my god.
Funny moments for you.
Let me see it again. Alright, anyway, that Peekaboo Billy made our day. He made our day. It was just so great. And, like, we need more of that in our game, man. We really do. We need more laughter and fun in the game. And just Peekaboo Billy made my day. He was just like, yeah, go ahead and go. And then he's just like, are you gone yet? Are you gone yet? It was so funny. Anyway, I want to leave you with that bit of laughter. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day, everybody. Take care of each other, especially the other people in the community on the other side of the game. So have a great day, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.